talking about getting one. It was kind of part of my plan. And I hate it. Frankly, it's a piece of shit. Now, the Xbox is also a piece of shit, so I'm not saying I regret my decision. I mean, I like the games I got. I played a little bit of Naruto. I played a little beach volleyball. The games are great. The graphics are incredible. The controllers feel good. As far as like technically, hardware-wise, it's great. The problem is how awful it is to use. It took me probably an hour and a half from when I plugged it in to actually being able to play any game. Maybe 2 hours actually, because first I was fumbling with making a PSN ID, and I guess maybe I don't have to do that, but I know I'm going to end up doing it. Like I'm going to need a PS Network ID to buy games and play online, all that shit. So, I'll do some of this grunt work, on the front end. So that took a long time. I had to download a lot of patches, a lot of updates, a lot of whatever shit you had to download. Then I put in my first game, which was Naruto, and I tried to play it, and it said story mode. The game works, it turned on, but then it said story mode can't be accessed while the game is still downloading content. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I was so confused, and I couldn't play it. I could play free battle, but I couldn't play story mode, so I'm not really sure what the heck is going on there. And then when I put in beach volleyball, I had the same issue. I couldn't play the game until I downloaded like a 3 gigabyte patch. So it's like, what? Like I read about an Xbox, you have to download the games before you can play them. I didn't think that happened on PlayStation as well, but it seemingly did. Maybe I did it wrong. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but so that was pretty frustrating. Putting in I hooked it up to PayPal because I don't want to put my credit card number in there since let's just say security isn't one of Sony's priorities, and we all know that, I think, right? Here's the real problem when I got really, really upset. So I got 2 controllers. So I'm playing with my first controller. I turned it on and it was working fine. I was navigating all the menus and doing everything great. So I played on it for about an hour and a half or whatever. I'm like, this controller's kind of low on battery because, when it comes out of the box, it's like mid-charged. I'm going to charge it. So I plug it in with the provided cable. I pick up the other controller and I want to use that for a little bit. So I turn that on and nothing happens. And by this I mean that the controller works, the light turns on, but it does not work with the PlayStation. I try to use everything and navigate whatever I could. It didn't work. So I'm like, maybe it's interfering because player 1 is still plugged in. Maybe player 2 doesn't work when player 1's plugged in, which would be kind of an awkward way to solve the problem, is just have player 2 not work, but better than Xbox's solution, which is, as any Xbox owner knows, if you press start on player 2, you're fucked. And the only thing you can do is unplug the console from the wall and then make sure that you don't touch the second player controller. You know what I mean? Anybody who's been through that fucking hassle knows what I'm talking about. But I unplugged the USB, I unplugged the controller, I turned it off, and I tried to do it again with the controller. It didn't work. I tried turning the PlayStation off and then turning it back on with only the second controller in my hands. Okay? This is when the real great thing happened. This blue screen came on, and it said press the PlayStation button to continue. And that's the middle button, where the X button would be on Xbox. So I'm pushing the PlayStation button, and the controller once again turns on, lights up, nothing happens, doesn't fucking do anything. So I started Googling it, and people apparently, this came out in 2013, so there's like all these questions about, what the hell's wrong with connectivity, this blah, blah, blah. People are saying on the back of the controller is like this little tiny hole, and you can take a paperclip and stick it in there, and it hard resets the controller. I tried doing that. I restart the PlayStation again. Then finally, I'm like, I'm going to try to just plug it in via USB cable and see if it works. So I did that, and it did work. As soon as I plugged it in USB, it worked. Then I unplugged the USB, and it still worked. So, okay, that's fine. Okay, I understand. To make a connection, it needs a cable. That's totally fine. I'm not mad about that. What I'm mad about is that fucking screen that comes on that says press the PS button to continue. And that's all you get. How about fucking, if that doesn't work, in parentheses, try plugging it in with a USB. This came out in 2013, and they had a ton of issues, and they couldn't fucking patch this in? Like, patch in this one sentence on this ridiculous blue screen that gives you terrible instructions and absolutely no recourse at all? How the fuck did they let that through? How do they do that? Like, how does nobody go, you know what, it's really irritating when you can't connect by pressing the PS button, and that's the only instruction that's on this fucking page. Now, there's people commenting right now, you fucking idiot. Why didn't you plug it in first? I'll tell you why. Because the first controller worked perfectly without having to plug it in. And then the only instruction I'm given is push the PS button. So why would I think I ever need to plug it in ever in my entire life? Why would that thought ever cross my mind? Fuck you for typing that. Delete that fucking comment. Don't even bother. You're the wrong one here. It's fucking embarrassing for them. So, I will say one thing, good thing here, is when I plugged that controller, the PS controller, to my computer to play like a Nintendo game, all I had to do was plug it in with USB, and it was just plug and play. Absolutely beautiful. With Xbox 360, you had to download a driver first, which is kind of a hassle, and then the driver was kind of iffy and finicky, whereas the PlayStation controller just works like a dream. And it's actually better for emulation and like retro gaming, because on the Xbox controllers, the joystick is lined up with the D-pad. I mean the buttons. So it's kind of like you're playing with the joystick instead of a classic D-pad, if you want to be, like in a straight horizontal line. Whereas the PlayStation has the D-pad lined up with the buttons, so that's really cool. Now I've been an Xbox fanboy my entire life, and I actually switched from Xbox to PlayStation this generation, and I wasn't planning on doing that either. I plan on going Xbox One, but Xbox. Here's how bad Xbox fucked up. Let me tell you how bad. I have 2 Xboxes. I have 2 Xbox 360s. I have like 9 Xbox 360 controllers. I've been an Xbox Live account member since 2002. Okay, like. I'm an Xbox fanboy, and they fucked me over multiple times. They treated me like shit on multiple occasions. I might even have a rant about this already, but one time I was trying to go from one Xbox to another when my Xbox started acting up, and I followed their instructions of getting a USB device and formatting it to their hardware specifications via the Xbox, and then migrating my data manually to their thing, because you couldn't use the cloud, because the cloud's cap is 500 megabytes, which is like not enough to migrate anything, especially not games you may have bought, or say even save games if you have a ton of them. So another thing about their save games is when you're copying a save game from Xbox, you don't copy, you only cut. So you actually remove the file from the Xbox and place it on the USB device. So it's very precarious. So anyway, I did this with my Mass Effect saves, which is hundreds of hours, and my Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball save, which is hundreds of hours. Sure, I'm a little embarrassed to say that, but that's a fact. I had all that time invested in these games. And then, as soon as I plugged that USB device into the new Xbox, there's no data on it. And then I tried putting it into the original Xbox, and there's no data there either. Data's just gone. Data just got voided. And I called them to complain that I lost hundreds of hours. And what did I expect? I'll tell you what I expected. Here's what would have been good customer service in my mind at that time. They give me like 3 free years of Xbox Gold, and they give me like $200 of Xbox Gold fucking credits so I can buy indie games and shit. That would have been what I would have found acceptable. What they gave me instead, after me like just going crazy for a long time, is 2 months free Xbox Gold, which is like a $16 value, which is pretty much like smearing fucking shit on my face and telling me tough shit. Go tell your mommy. That's what they told me. So then, anyway, I got over that somehow, and I don't know how I got over that, because just reiterating that now is making me boil the fuck over. But I was planning on buying an Xbox One over this holiday season, this last Black Friday. Now it's April. I was going to buy an Xbox One. I was committed. I had the money set aside. I'm like, this Black Friday, get an Xbox One. Then I started looking for deals and bundles, realized that every single game and bundle is horrible. Okay? Maybe some of you like these games. I don't give a fuck. Okay? It was like Battlefield, Call of Duty, Uncharted, and Star Wars Battlefront, and Halo 5. So I'll tell you, in fairness, I was interested in Battlefront. Then I read a tiny bit about it, realized that game's fucking garbage. No single player campaign at all. Like, how do you fuck up that franchise so bad you don't put a single player campaign in? Like, even in the framework of the game where you're doing the Battlefront thing, you can still recreate all the major battles of the fucking campaign and say, okay, in this campaign you're Luke and you gotta kill the AT-ATs. And I mean, I guess that's the multiplayer, but I don't want to play against. I want to have more of a like cutscenes in there. Put something in there. It would cost you nothing to do that. So anyway, it's pretty much online only, and half the game is fucking DLC. So you buy the bundle, and then you still gotta buy the rest of the game via DLC. So fuck you very much, I don't want to do that. So fuck that bundle, right? Then Halo 5. I like Halo, I've always been a Halo fan. Me and my friends have had a great time playing split-screen Halo for my entire life, since Halo 1. I've beaten every Halo game except for Reach, split-screen, with my friends, and had a great time. Well, I was this close to pulling the trigger too. Then I watched Angry Joe's review where he said, by the way, split screen co-op is gone. like stealth removed. And I would have spent the money and got the Xbox. And imagine how pissed I am right now. How pissed I would have been if I found out the hard way that I couldn't play Halo 5 split screen. So fuck you again, Xbox. You fucking lost me. What do you offer me that's of any value? And then they promised this retro compatibility shit where they're gonna make all the 360 games compatible, which I was real excited about. And they released like 5 games or whatever. Mass Effect 1 was the only game that I cared about. And then they just dropped the entire subject. Never, ever did another game. So fuck you again. So Xbox, you fucked this up somehow. I was a customer for like 12 fucking years. You fucked that up. And I was this close to spending the money too. You couldn't get it out of my hands. How horrible are you at what you do? So then I switched over to PlayStation, and you know, sure enough, as I knew it was the case, this new generation of consoles is a huge fucking letdown. I only hope that the games can, and the game companies, developers can pull them out of this awful rut. But if I'm going to give you advice right now, unless there's a game you feel like you really can't live without, in my case it's Naruto Ninja Storm, do not buy a console. It's a complete ripoff. Just get a fucking computer, get a controller to go with it, and all the games come out there anyway. I mean, yeah, PlayStation's fighting really hard to get exclusives, so you can't get these games on PC, but those games probably fucking suck anyway, you know? They're not good enough. They're not good enough to spend $400 on a piece of shit console that only gives you grief. You know, I can't wait till my fucking data gets stolen. I'm so happy, like, I bought a refurbished one from eBay. I'm actually really happy that I did, because I didn't give, you know, Sony the money officially, like, as if I'm a real customer. I was a customer of, like, a refurbished system. So I feel good about that, because I'm very dissatisfied with what I have so far. But, controllers are nice. Naruto Ninja Storm is a good game. I'm going to spend a lot of time on it. So that's my first impressions of PlayStation. I haven't purchased a PS Network ID, or ID? I don't know what to fucking call it. I haven't purchased that yet, so I haven't really messed with the network. I haven't got any of the free downloads. I really just got it set up last night and played for about 2 hours. So, fuck you, PlayStation, and fuck you, Microsoft. That's the fucking thesis of this. That's the point. Thank you.